Hello students, today I am going to explain you chapter 1 Modern Democracy. In this chapter I am going to explain you about what is a government, why do we need a government and different forms of government. So first is what is a government? Government means a political body which takes decisions about how to manage the affairs of the country. Or in other words we can say the government is the head of the country and all the affairs are managed by the government. Now, why do we need a government? To understand this, let's take an example of your class. Imagine your class without a teacher. You will start playing, eating, shouting, singing, going out to the playground or roaming about in the school. So, it will be a total mess, right? So, every person's problems, their needs, aspirations and interests are different from one another. So in a region where so many different peoples live together, they all live, work and behave differently. So this would lead to fight, conflict and so on. Therefore, they had to be controlled and managed by a system which guide them as to how to live safely and in peaceful and in harmony. Therefore, there is a need of government to ensure that people live safely and peacefully without any conflict. So that's why we need a government. Now next is forms of government. Different forms of government exist in different parts of the world. The system by which a country is governed is known as forms of government. It's form of government. Broadly, they are classified under three categories. First one is monarchy, second one is dictatorship, and third one is democracy. So let us see them one by one. First one is monarchy. In a monarchy, a monarch means a king or a queen. Monarch means king or a queen. So, in a monarchy, a monarch means a king or a queen is the head of the government. The monarch have power to make decisions for the entire country. Okay, all the decisions are taken by whom? By the monarch. It is hereditary. Hereditary means the person's power, the power passes from king or queen to their children. They do not have to explain their actions to the people. Means they are not answerable to the people for their decisions. In some traditional monarchies, the monarch has absolute power. Okay, in traditional means in the real form of monarchy, the monarch have the absolute powers. But nowadays, in a constitutional monarchy like in UK, Japan, Saudi Arab, Kuwait, etc., they all have a democratic government that restricts the monarch's control. It means they usually have an elected parliament to govern the country. So in monarchy, the monarch is the head of the government and all the decisions are taken by the monarch. It is hereditary and they are not answerable to the people. Now next one is the dictatorship. A dictatorship is a system where a person or a small group of people, they rule the country or seize power by force. In dictatorship, the dictator is not elected by the people. They have absolute power to run the country. The people of the country do not have the freedom to express their opinions to the government decisions. Whatever decisions are taken by the government, they have to accept that. In the dictatorship is not hereditary. As I told you, monarchy is a hereditary. Dictatorship is not hereditary. In a military dictatorship, the army is in control. Sometimes the military of a country can take over the government by force and establish a dictatorship. For example, Hitler he established a dictatorship in Germany. So any army officer who felt that he had the control of the army would capture or kill the king and take over the government and then start ruling the government country. This system of government came into being usually where the monarchy was exist and the king was weak and his policies were not popular. So dictatorship means it is ruled by a leader or a group of people. It is not hereditary and people, they don't have freedom to express their opinions. Now next one is democracy. In democracy, the government is elected by the people. Everyone who is 18 or above 18 of age is eligible to vote and can elect the leader who will run the country. Okay, we choose a representative and that representative runs the country. People can even change a government if they are not happy with it. If people are not satisfied with the government, in the next elections they can change the government. They have the power to change the government. Powers are vested in the hands of the people. All the powers are in the hands of the people. And government is answerable to the people. It means the government has to explain its actions and decisions to the people. And people have the power to put questions. The government work for the welfare of the country. Now this democracy is of two types. First one is direct and second one is indirect. Now first one, direct democracy. This is the oldest and the real form of democracy in which the people directly participate in managing the affairs of the people. Because population was very less, so people directly they managing the affairs of the country. Now indirect democracy. In indirect democracy, people do not directly participate in the government. They elect leaders and the leader takes decisions on the behalf of the people. They are the representatives of the people. The leaders are known as the representatives of the people. Now India is a representative democracy. It means we choose a leader and the leaders are the representatives. So the system of elected representative is practiced all over the world where democracy is followed. India is also known as democratic republic. Now why it is known as democratic republic? Because the head of the country, who is the head of the country? President. So president is elected by the people. It is not elected directly by the people. It is elected by the parliament, state legislative assembly and legislative council. Now next is modern democracy. The word democracy originated from Greek words. Demos and Ketros. Demos means people and Ketros means power. So means people's power. So democracy means government by the people. Democracy is one of the systems which has become the most powerful all over the world, and revolutions took place all over the world to establish this system. In democracy, the supreme powers are in the hands of the people, irrespective of their caste, creed, gender, religion. Okay, no discrimination on the basis of their caste, creed, gender, religion, etc. All are equal and all have the equal powers. It is a system where people can change the ruling power by means of voting out a government. If people are not satisfied with the government, they can change the government by means of voting. Normally, every person who is adult citizen of a country has the right to vote. This is known as one man, one vote. One man, one vote. Means one man can cast only one vote. It is also known as universal adult franchise. Universal adult franchise. Now what is universal adult franchise? Every person who is adult citizen of a country has the right to vote. So this is known as universal adult franchise. Now some main characteristics of modern democracy are: first one is elected representatives. State Legislative Assembly and Legislative Council. In democracy, representatives elected by the people, and these representatives, they make laws and frame policies of the government. All adult citizens have the right to participate in the elections. In India, the voting age has been fixed at 18 years of age. All adult citizens, those who are above 18 or 18 years of age, they participate in the elections. Okay, they cast their votes. Free and fair elections are held at regular intervals. Every 5 years, after every 5 years, a free and fair elections took place. The people have the right to remove the government if in the next election, if they are not satisfied with the government's policies and function. If they are not satisfied with the policies made by the government, they can change the government in the next elections. Now, second one is rule of law. Rule of law means no one is above the law. No one is above the law. Okay. So rule of law means no one is above the law. Law is supreme and everyone is equal in the eye of law. Okay. Whether it's a president or a prime minister or any political leader, they all have to follow law. Any violation of law is a punishable offence. If anybody violates the law, they get what? Punishment. All laws apply equally to all Indian citizens. The people of India can challenge a law in court if they feel it is unfair. Okay. So all laws apply equally to all the citizens. And if any person feels that this law is unfair, then the people of India, they can challenge that in the court, like CAA. So people feel that it is unfair. So many people, they started protest. And they challenged it in the court. Two aspects become essential part of a democracy. Which are they? I will explain you. So that people should not discriminate. Okay. Which are they? First one is social democracy, and second one is economic democracy. Now first one is social democracy. It means that all the men and women should be treated equally. First thing, men and women should be treated equally. Second one, they should get equal opportunities for development. Both should get equal opportunities for the development. No one should be discriminated on the basis of their religion, caste, race, etc. So that is known as social democracy. Means all are equal, all should be treated equal. Okay, there is no discrimination on the basis of their religion, caste, gender, etc. Second one is economic democracy. It means that all members should enjoy the freedom in terms of economic aspect. They should get equal opportunities to earn their livelihood. Equal wages should be given to both men and women, and the workers should not be exploited by entrepreneurs. So these are the two important or essential aspects of democracy. Now, making democracy successful. Who makes the democracy successful, or how we can make the democracy successful? So people who are educated and aware of their rights and duties towards their country. Okay, people who is educated and if he is aware about their rights and duties, they make the democracy successful. If people are educated and they don't know about their rights and about their duties, then it is useless. So people who is educated and aware of their rights and duties a democracy successful. People should be disciplined and obey the law. Okay, they should obey the law. People should take interest in the formation of government. They should exercise their right to vote. All get this right? Those who are above 18, they can cast the vote. So people should take interest in the formation of government. Now so many people, they are not participating. Okay, they are not casting their vote. So it is important to cast the vote to make the democracy successful. People should keep themselves informed about the policies of the government. Okay, people should be aware. We should be aware about the policies which are formed by the government. People should formulate public opinions if they feel that the policies are not fair. Okay, they can create what? Public opinions if they feel that it is unfair. The policy is unfair. People should be aware of their rights to question the government, but do not take the law into their hands. Okay, they should know their rights. That yes, if anything government is doing, they can put question on that. But if they take the law in their hands, then it destroy the democracy. So people should not take the laws in their hands. Okay. Now next one is the fundamental rights. The Constitution of India provided 6 fundamental rights to their citizens. Which are they? Let us see them one by one. First one is right to equality. Right to equality means all are equal before law. No one is above the law. No discrimination on the basis of their caste, color, creed, gender, etc. Next one is right to freedom. Citizens of India have some right to speak and express their opinions freely, to form associations. They are free to form any association, to move and reside in any part of the country. They can move or they can reside. Reside means they can settle. So to move and reside in any part of the country, to take up any occupation and to start any business. So that comes under right to freedom. Means they are free to speak, they are free to form any association, they are free to follow any occupation, they can start any business, and they are free to move in any part of the country. Next one is right against exploitation. The Constitution of India prohibits all forms of forced labor. Now prohibits means something which is not allowed. Okay, so forced labor is not allowed. For example, beggar is a forced labor, so which is not allowed. Second one, prohibited child labor. Children who is below 14 years of age, and if they are working in any factory or any industry or any work which is not allowed. Okay, so that is also prohibits. Third one is prohibits trafficking. Trafficking means what? Trafficking. Trafficking means illegal buying and selling of humans as well as their parts. So that is also prohibits by the Constitution. So right against exploitation means prohibits all forms of forced labor, prohibits child labor, and prohibits trafficking. Now next one is right to freedom of religion. Fourth one is right to freedom of religion. People have the right to follow, to practice or to preach their religion of their choice. Okay, they are free to follow any religion, they can practice any religion, or they can preach any religion of their choice. That is known as right to freedom of religion. So people have the right to follow, to practice or to preach the religion of their choice. Next one is cultural and educational right. Cultural and educational rights. All the minority groups have the right to conserve or to protect their own culture. Okay. Now, who comes under minority groups? Now, Sikhs, Muslims, Christians, Jainis, all comes under minority groups. So all the minority groups, they have the right to conserve or to protect their own culture, and they are allowed to set up educational institutions in order to protect their language, their culture, their scripts, etc. Now next one is right to the constitutional remedies. Under this, the citizen of the country can go to the court. They have the right to go to the court if they feel that their rights are violated by the state. Again, listen. The people have the right to go to the court if they feel that their any fundamental right is violated by the state. They can directly go to the court. So these are the 6 fundamental rights provided by the Constitution to all the citizens of India. Now the difference between presidential form of democracy and parliamentary form of democracy, that I will explain you in the next video. Thank you.